Ron DeSantis, the courage to be free, Florida's blueprint for America's revival. In The Courage to be Free, Florida's Blueprint for America's Revival, Ron DeSantis shares his bold vision for leadership, grounded in strong principles and decisive actions. As the governor of Florida, DeSantis offers an insight into his policymaking process and the rationale behind his controversial decisions. From tackling the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic to resisting progressive ideologies like wokeness and critical race theory, DeSantis presents a narrative of governance that he believes can serve as a national model. You'll explore the Florida governor's strategies, including his offensive approach to leadership, his handling of disputes with major corporations such as Disney, and his stand on issues like immigration, education, and law enforcement. This summary provides a thorough look at DeSantis' tenure and his aspiration to extend Florida's influence over national policy, a must-read for anyone keen on understanding a potential future leader of America.
Visionary leadership. Imagine stepping into a new world overnight. That's what Ron DeSantis experienced, and he became the governor of Florida in November 2018. As he took that first morning jog as governor, surrounded by security agents, the weight of his new role began to dawn on him. Gone were his days as just one of many voices in Congress. Now, he held the reins of a state with 20 million residents. DeSantis was ready to leave his mark, driven by a clear vision for both Florida and the nation, and bolstered by the strong endorsement of President Trump, who saw him as a brilliant leader with an unyielding love for America. DeSantis's journey to the governor's mansion was not handed to him. He began as a relative unknown. To secure a seat in Congress, he embarked on relentless door-to-door campaigns, slowly building recognition and securing votes. By 2018, his persistence paid off, and he was not only ready but eager to embrace the responsibilities of governorship. No longer confined by the slow pace of congressional policymaking, he was determined to enact meaningful change directly. His agenda was ambitious, focusing on healthcare reform, curbing illegal immigration, and enhancing law and order. However, having clear objectives was only the first step. DeSantis understood that making his vision a reality required decisive action and robust leadership. He embraced a philosophy where the best defense is a strong offense, ready to confront challenges head-on. Central to his approach was his stance against progressive ideologies, or what he refers to as woke indoctrination. For DeSantis, policies like critical race theory were considered as damaging narratives that misrepresented America's foundation. In response, he introduced the Stop Wrongs Against Our Kids and Employees Act, widely known as the Stop Woke Act, aimed at preventing educational content that he perceives as left-wing propaganda. This legislation epitomized his commitment to actively confronting issues he opposed, particularly those he believed undermined traditional values. Through his assertive governance, DeSantis has not only reinforced his position in Florida but also emerged as a significant figure on the national stage. With an eye on America's future, his leadership style reflects a blend of strong vision and tactical action, making him a leader to watch closely. Whether one agrees with his methods or not, DeSantis's approach to leadership is a testament to the importance of having a definite vision and the tenacity to pursue it relentlessly. Florida's unconventional path. Governor DeSantis of Florida sees his leadership as a stand for freedom and pragmatism, often putting him at odds with critics but resonating deeply with his state's residents. A pivotal moment in his leadership was the handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. While much of the U.S. succumbed to widespread lockdowns and closures, DeSantis charted a distinctive course. He was skeptical of extreme measures based solely on epidemiological predictions, opting instead for a strategy rooted in tangible data. DeSantis drew inspiration from the Great Barrington Declaration, an alternative approach advocating for normalcy while prioritizing the protection of the vulnerable elderly. In his perspective, decisions shouldn't hinge on unlikely worst-case scenarios that cripple economies and daily life. Thus, he rejected the conventional shutdowns and kept Florida vibrant and active. Essential and non-essential business distinctions were dismissed as all work was deemed crucial to those employed. Schools reopened, beaches remained accessible, and life surged forward. Despite a storm of criticism labeling Florida's actions as reckless, DeSantis stands firm in his conviction. The results, he argues, underscore his decisions. Florida's adjusted COVID mortality rate remained comparatively low, even outpacing over 30 states despite its significant elderly demographic. Beyond health statistics, the broader implications of his policies were notable. A rigorous study by the Committee to Unleash Prosperity assessed state responses, considering not just mortality but also educational and economic impacts. In this comprehensive evaluation, Florida emerged as the leading large state, a testament to DeSantis' confidence in his calculated approach. In hindsight, DeSantis believes the facts validate his course of action during the pandemic. Florida's experience showcases a bold interpretation of leadership under pressure, aiming not only to protect public health but also to uphold individual freedoms and economic stability. His belief is that Florida, having navigated these challenges, exemplifies a future shaped by resilience and independence. DeSantis' stand for freedom. Even amidst the global chaos of the pandemic, Florida stood as a beacon of possibility. By summer 2020, its tourism industry was booming, and new residents were flocking to the state, drawn by a sense of hope. Governor Ron DeSantis became an emblem of resilience and freedom, even receiving gratitude from across the globe, like a letter from a man in Australia who found solace in Florida's defiance of excessive restrictions. This journey hasn't been without its challenges, particularly against what DeSantis perceives as a pervasive leftist ideology. His dissatisfaction with this ideology stems from his college days at Yale in the late 90s, where he grew discontent with the criticism directed toward America and the mockery of religious beliefs. These early experiences nudged him further to the right. DeSantis' strong stance against leftist policies extends to educational matters in Florida. He's firm in believing that schools should concentrate on foundational skills such as reading and writing, steering away from teaching gender and sexual ideologies to young children. In line with this belief, Florida enacted the Parental Rights in Education Bill in 2022, controversially labeled by the media as the "Don't Say Gay Bill." This legislation restricts teachings on gender ideology to young students, aligning with what DeSantis considers common sense. However, this bill triggered unforeseen conflict with a formidable opponent, Disney. Once amicable with DeSantis and significant to Florida's economy, Disney found itself in a clash over the legislation. Sparked by employee demands and advocacy pressures, Disney's then CEO, Bob Chapek, eventually opposed the bill, arguing that it endangered young LGBTQ+ individuals. This bold opposition from Disney marked a turning point for DeSantis, who saw the corporation's actions as activism contrary to its family-friendly image. Undeterred, DeSantis prepared to counter, recognizing Disney as a powerful entity due to its unique self-governing privileges in Florida. The stage was set for a battle where principles, politics, and power converged, with DeSantis ready to defend his stance and policies against a once-favored ally turned adversary. Florida's bold leadership. The unique powers and privileges once enjoyed by a major company in Florida have been rescinded, signaling a shift in corporate government relations. Governor DeSantis took decisive action by revoking the self-governing status of Disney, a move aimed at curbing the influence of corporations pursuing political agendas. He makes it clear that engaging in politics carries consequences, embodying his vision of a Florida aligned with core American values. For DeSantis, facing modern challenges like calls to defund the police or tech censorship requires a return to common sense and traditional values. His leadership involves making tough decisions, often in the face of strong opposition and media criticism. However, he remains steadfast, viewing these battles as necessary for robust governance. The results are evident. Florida has witnessed significant economic and social gains under his administration. During the pandemic, DeSantis's policies preserved numerous jobs and revitalized tourism by rejecting restrictions and vaccine mandates. This approach portrayed Florida as a bastion of freedom, attracting a large influx of new residents. In 2020, the state's net migration was valued at $23.7 billion. By the following year, over 250,000 newcomers settled in Florida, showcasing the state's robust appeal in terms of economic opportunities and public safety. Law enforcement remains a key priority, with the state enhancing its police forces rather than defunding them. This focus on security reassures families seeking a safe environment, setting Florida apart from states with diminishing police presence. The growing population and migration patterns reflect a clear preference for the state's proactive stance on law and order. Politically, DeSantis's vision resonates with a substantial portion of the electorate. His re-election in 2022 with an overwhelming margin, transforming a narrow 30,000-vote victory in 2018 to a commanding 1.5 million votes, is a testament to his widespread approval. His influence even extends to traditionally Democrat-leaning Hispanic and Black voter demographics, from which he secured significant support. Under DeSantis, Florida is seen as a model for those seeking a combination of economic vitality, public safety, and governance that champions individual freedoms. As more individuals and businesses vote with their feet, Florida continues to thrive, illustrating the impact of its assertive leadership and strategic vision.
Ron DeSantis's The Courage to Be Free offers a compelling examination of leadership anchored in conviction and a commitment to personal freedoms. Reflecting on his tenure as Florida's governor, DeSantis illustrates how his policies not only protected the state's economic and public health interests during the pandemic but also facilitated a significant demographic influx due to Florida's appealing climate for freedom and family safety. By prioritizing transparency and parental rights in education, resisting federal overreach, and maintaining public safety without succumbing to leftist pressures, DeSantis carves a narrative of resistance and revival. His approach invites both admiration and criticism, but the positive response from Florida's electorate underscores his impact. Whether you agree or disagree with his ideologies, DeSantis sets forth a robust discourse on governance, suggesting that Florida's blueprint can indeed serve as a comprehensive model for America's future leadership.